Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this feed. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Frankie Olivo. Our program focuses on the very important issues that are affecting our local community. We have shed light on injustices and we've allowed for our platform, this mic, to be that of the voice of the people. Now, if this is something that you can see yourself supporting, we ask that you like, comment, and share this live feed. Now, as of late, our Facebook page is at risk of being taken down. The powers that be do not want you, the voter, to know the truth. But remember, we will not be silenced. Now, if you're really about the cause and you want to stand up to corruption and you want to hold our elected leaders accountable, well, we ask that you subscribe to our social media platforms. Currently, right now, this program is being streamed on Facebook. You could find us under Frankie Olivo on our main page and also under Olivo Frankie on our personal page. Make sure you like, follow those pages. We are also streaming live on X, formerly known as Twitter. We could be found under Frankie Olivo. But more importantly, if you haven't already, make sure that you create a Gmail account, go to YouTube, and find us under Frankie Olivo TV. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and follow that page. Remember, Brownsville, I will never ever ask you for money. I will never ever ask you for food. Well, depends what you're making. If you want for me to continue to talk about the important issues and have an open dialogue in regards to important issues that are affecting our local community, I don't ask for much. All I ask of my community is a simple subscription, a simple follow. It will go a long, long way for me. And once again, thank you so much to everyone that tunes in and is part of this process. Remember, Good Morning Brownsville will come on Monday through Friday at 9 a.m., sometimes a little bit after, religiously. So make sure that you subscribe to all of our social media platforms to tune in. We will not be silenced. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Thank you so much for that. How we doing, chat? How we doing? Happy Monday. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we start this week with early voting. As we have previously stated, we will continue to talk about this very important issue from here till Election Day in the first Tuesday of November. We want to make it a point that when this is all said and done, we don't have someone in the community that says, I didn't know, I wasn't aware of this. Why wasn't this communicated to me? I was even advised if I would consider communicating on the platform in Spanish for our Spanish-speaking community, and I will try my best. I will try to do all my posts from here on out in English and in Spanish. I'll even consider doing half an hour, 45 minutes of our lives in Spanish. We do want to target our Spanish audience. This propositions on the ballot will greatly affect each and every one of you. It doesn't matter whether you are a property owner or not. That is something that we've been talking about day in and day out for the past few months. We have done our part, so to speak. Now it's time for each of us as constituents, as voters, to do our civic duty, to go out to the ballot boxes. I understand that there are people out there that are in favor of this bond. I have heard a large group of members, community members, that do feel as if we are doing a disservice to our students, our future, if we vote against this. So we'll be talking throughout the course of this program what's at stake, what's going to be on the ballot, the different locations. Somebody was asking me, Lugo, where is early voting? Again, from today, Monday, October 20th, through Halloween, Friday, October 31st, there will be early voting where you can go and cast your ballot. We understand that there are people out there that prefer, for whatever reason, and more power to them, just prefer to wait until election day. Uh, I have spoken with individuals that feel as if maybe they don't have all the information during early voting. They want to get as much data as possible in order for them to make a more informed decision with their ballot. I hate to sound ugly, but I don't care whether you vote yes or no. I want you to go out to vote. During the last midterm elections, the city of Brownsville saw about 9 to 10,000 voters come out, which is, we can have a whole hour on voter apathy and the reasons why many people don't go out to vote. But I encourage you to do so. Again, this very issue, and look, all elections are important. I don't want for anyone to misconstrue that. Every election is important. We were very vocal and actively following the municipal races. We stated our case as to why we felt as if one candidate was better than the other. The constituents voted the opposite way. We don't agree with it, but it's like a jury. We respect the jury's decision. This proposition, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter whether you are a business owner, whether you are a landlord, whether you rent property, whether you own property, everyone will be starting to feel the pinch in regards to this. Before I forget and go off topic and start with today's program, I want to encourage my community to make sure that we're ready for today. We're ready for these next 2 weeks. It's going to be important for us to make sure that we have all the information necessary in order for us to make the best decision. And I want you to be to treat this election as if it were a business. Is this a right business decision that we are making by allowing Bisd to raise our taxes, our property taxes, in the sum of $1 billion? Good morning, Roman. How was your weekend?
Oh, let me unmute. Good morning. Are you able to hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. Like it's very low on my end. No, it was a good weekend for me. We had Cowboys win, Longhorns win, alma mater won, high school football. It's great. Love it. Great weekend.
I think Roman froze. Unless it's me. Anyways, where were we? But before I start, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to encourage my community to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Currently, right now, we are at 826 subscribers. Let me bring that up very quickly. And look, ladies and gentlemen, I have breaking news. I got something exclusive that I wanted to let you guys in on. I have two very big stories, and I'm going to post this possibly tomorrow, if not Wednesday. What are we, Monday? I'll possibly post it on Wednesday. What I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is, again, our goal for our platform, our page, was to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. We are in mid to late October. We are roughly 180, 174 off the mark. I have two big stories. Well, three big stories. One, I just posted about it this morning. One is in regards to grades at Hannah, where counselors are being investigated for potential grade manipulation at the high school. It involves a mother who's a counselor of a child that magically rose through the ranks. I have that story. I have a story on a local politician being accused of harassing someone. The juicier story, well, they are pretty juicy. The juicier story is administrators having sex on campus, on district time, on district property. Now, for all these stories, I have receipts. I always get criticized for, oh, you're cheeseman, you're no. We come with data. We come with receipts. So I'm going to give you an opportunity, South Texas. Do you want me to talk about these stories? They're ready to go. Ready to go. The grading one, I still need to work on it, but it's pretty much done. Do you want me to talk about these stories? I don't have to. But hey, I have a goal in mind. Are you going to help me reach that goal? And maybe it sounds dirty, right? Like, oh, help me get here. But again, I don't ask for much of my community. I understand that by me talking about these very sensitive issues and topics, I have a bullseye on my back, and that's okay. We love swimming with the sharks. So I have 3 stories for my community. One involves grade manipulation from a counselor who got her child's grades changed to potentially be the valedictorian. Got that story. It's pretty juicy. I have a politician being accused of harassing someone. Have receipts for that. And then I have administrators having sex on campus. Do you want me to talk about these issues? When we talk about harassment, this is a very damning story. Damning story. And I've learned that there's more, but wait, there's more to that story. So that one's going to be juicy. Sex on campus, pues, what else do I need to say, right? It's juicy AF. And as the saying goes, it's never a dull day in Cameron County, South Texas politics. So you decide. Do you want me to talk about these stories? Do you want to for me to bring you bangers? I could, but I'll only do so if I have 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. So we got 60 days, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit more than 60 days. Do you want these stories? Yes or no? Simple as that. Do I need to talk about them? No, I don't. I could put them in my vault, forget about them. I don't lose sleep over them. I mean, I want to talk about them. For those people that know me, I want to talk about them. But at the same time, if I'm going to risk my neck out there, if I'm going to talk about these delicate issues, I need help, Brownsville. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers. Help me help you. So I was contemplating whether I should talk about this or not, but what the hell? I do a lot, I think. I stick my neck out. I don't get paid for nothing. I don't get paid for running stories, for focusing on elections, at least I haven't yet. What do you say, Brownsville? Do you want these juicy stories? And also, we don't attack people just to attack. That's one thing that we've been criticizing. Oh, anyone that gets in front of you, well, al que le toque, le toque. But again, our program is designed in a way to keep our local elected leaders and those in leadership positions accountable. If you're someone with an authoritarian position, authority, then you merit this. So I'll be posting this on Wednesday. So in case you guys want to know the goods on sex on campus, on harassment, and counselors changing grades, eh, let's get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Roman, how we doing?
Internet. That's why I was out. Took me forever. Went out toward the second time, but hopefully it won't go away. Had a glitch in the house. I guess Southmost electricity sucks. But it's fine. It's okay. It'll work.
I really want to look into the Starlink. Supposedly that's fast. That's, I think now I have to look at it. And I think I asked you or asked somebody not too long ago because I know that there's mobile, like you could take it out in your car, and if you're out camping or out on the beach, you could literally put out your, what is it, like a modem or a satellite or whatever it is, and you could connect pretty much. And we have seen how in, what's the proper phrase, the darkest parts of the world where they have no connectivity, they're actually allowing people to connect. So I think I'm gonna start looking into Starlink, because maybe it's like a mobile thing where you can take it on the go, and I'd love that. Especially somebody that, like us, that we're kind of, do these things and need a high quality internet. We need to be plugged in.
Right.
I think that'd be cool. Roman, today's early voting. What's your feel for these next 2 weeks?
Over the weekend, I've talked to many different people. I think the majority of them seem to feel that the people that are watching, like those of you who are watching, are going to vote no against this bond. They pulled, BIC has pulled out all the stops trying to get people to convince them that this is a good idea. Whether it's the unions, whether it's giving presentations at different at schools, whether it's at Democrat organizations, Rotary, Lions clubs, Valley Interfaith, everywhere they can possibly give out these presentations. And I'm not sure that everybody's buying it, because they feel that that BISD is pulling the wool over their eyes, because they know what we all know. They even did an interview about it on Valley, Inside Politics, that Frank McCaffrey show that Channel 4 does, and they showed a clip of how the superintendent is saying that we have 51 schools, and we have a big district, and we have to fix all these schools. And it just reminded me again, how many schools are getting funded right now by this bond and how many are not. If there are 51 schools, you would think that every single school is going to get fixed, and they're not. And they're not getting fixed, and there's a reason for that. And even when you try to talk to one union member, executive person, one of the key people, key clogs, I guess, in the machinery of the unions, and I tell them, hey, schools are going to close regardless of whether this bond happens or not. And they're like, oh, where's your source? And I was like, well, I mean, the superintendent's my source. I mean, he's told people the fact that not every schools, and then even one of the other union people have said, that BIC should close 14 schools or 7 to 14 schools, to make sense, to make the district. And it's like, well, this is a big school district. Yeah. And I think the district needs to downsize. I mean, it really does. But for whatever reason, these trustees really, really want to pass this bond. And it's only 5 of them that really want to pass it. I mean, well, I'll say not 5. I'll say 3. Because I really have seen, Denise, Jessica, and Daniela, well, definitely Daniela, go out there, talk about this bond. But it was 5 that voted for it. Have you heard of the Golden Girl or Blackie Locks, Frank Ortiz? Have you heard either of those 2 people going out there promoting the bond, talking about how the bond is very, very important? Have you? You really haven't. Why? Why haven't well, I mean, why haven't I heard them? I haven't heard of them, but those three I have. And then it seems that, two board members, and I would assume that's Carlos and Minerva, are pushing against it. But, I got a call last night from a former board member encouraging me to vote no. And I'm like, dude, why are you wasting your call on me? I'm voting no. Like, oh, well, you have to tell people. I think we have a podcast. Frankie has a podcast. We're telling people to vote no. And I mean, I'm texting people, I'm calling people, telling them to vote no, vote no.
Yeah, interesting. I still don't understand the reason why the unions are encouraging their members and the community to vote yes for Proposition A and B. The only thing that I could think of, Roman, is the reality. The reality is that many people are going to lose their job. There's no question that schools are going to close. That's a given. And look, according to our source, 11 schools are bound to close in the very near future. Could it be this upcoming year? Maybe. Could it be the following? Possibly. What's going to happen to all those teachers, counselors, principals, the staff in the hundreds, if not thousands? They're going to lose their jobs. I like to deal in reality. I understand that maybe we want to mask things and sing kumbaya and talk about rainbows and butterflies, but that's the reality. It's not like if I'm saying it, it's not like if Roman is saying it. The very own superintendent said that there is still going to be a need. Let's say hypothetically that if this bond passes, there's still going to be a need to go out for another bond in 10 years if this bond passes. It just seems as if we're throwing money at something that's sinking. There's no question that they are dire need of repairs that is needed. And the unions, in my opinion, are thinking, well, let's stay afloat, whatever it takes, to prevent this from happening. You've had people such as Gina Hinojosa, who is a former school board member, a former rep, now candidate for governor for the state of Texas, was big on not closing schools, making sure that they do everything possible to make sure that school closures is not a reality. But being fiscally responsible, there is a need to downsize, in my opinion. We are starting to see the decline of enrollment at a very rapid pace. We were once close to 50,000. I think the mark was 48, 49. And now we're at a little over 32. The reality is we need to downsize. And if we don't, we are just going to jeopardize ourselves in the long run. And that is something that has plagued the district, unfortunately, for far too long, that we haven't had good management. We've been spending money like crazy. We're too top heavy. We have consultants galore. When we think about being fiscally responsible, that is a word that many politicians use so loosely. Actions speak louder than words. So it's not our fault that we are at the 11th hour desperately needing this bond. It's BISD's own fault for getting us in this predicament. Do you think the community is aware, Roman, of the stake or the pickle that we find ourselves in?
I think they are, in part because the school board members are scaring everybody. If we don't pass this bond, we're going to have a lot of pink slips. If we don't pass this bond, we're going to lose employees and benefits, and where they're going to find jobs, and where the students are going to go, and where you're going to put, how are you going to drive them to the new schools that they're going to have to go to. So they're scaring the crap out of people into voting for this bond. But in actually, when you look at the facts, because these people are like, man, this is the facts. These are the facts. Well, the facts are, sorry, you want to spend $10 million on one school, you want to spend $35 million on a high school, another $37 million on another high school, and you want to spend $38 million on another high school, and you want to spend $10 million on a high school that you just built not even 10 years ago. And yet there are schools that you're not going to fix. You're going to spend buttloads of money on each and every different school. And it's just like, where are they going to spend that all? I mean, the common sense voter, the common sense person is going to be like, that sounds like a lot of money to be fixing. Anytime I have told people that they want to spend nearly $10 million at veterans, every single person is like, didn't they just build that school? Why are they spending $10 million on a school they just built? That seems like out of the ordinary. That doesn't seem like maintenance. That seems like almost like a overhaul. And then when I tell them that they want to spend, 35, $40 million on Pace and Porter and Hannah each in that range, they're like, they could just build a new high school. Just build a whole new school. Why are we like, why not demolish them and just build a new school? That's what the common sense people think. And I hope and that's why I think the BIC trustees are no longer really talking about the needs of the schools. They're not talking about, if you don't pass this bond, we're going to have to fire people. We're going to have to let people go. What is going to happen? Oh, we got vouchers and we're going to lose enrollment. People are going to go. They're just anything they possibly can to scare people. And it's very troubling because they shouldn't do that. I mean, you might want to pull up with Denise Garza, the trustee that's running for county clerk. She posted this long thing about why it was necessary to vote for this bond. We need to be fair and balanced and talk about what they're posting, or maybe what Daniela Lopez Valdez is posting, and what other trustees are sharing. This pack that's out there, this mysterious pack that spent only $80 on a UPS thing last month, and now you see them everywhere on social media being shared. And who's funding this pack? We'll find out hopefully next Monday. Because next Monday their campaign finance reports will be due. Let's hope we find out what they're spending their money on. But yeah, it's just very disturbing that we have trustees out there scaring people, but it's there because they wanted to, because they need this. They feel that they need this, and I don't think they do. And this is why I know I'm right, that they don't need this, because 7 months ago, they only wanted less than 300 million, not including the pack. They only wanted less than 300 million. Did everything just fall apart in 7 months? 6 months that they now wanted $460 million, including the pack? I mean, did the inflation go up that much? Who is giving the numbers? Did they just look over a rock and look under a rock and like, oh my God, look what just happened? $100 million more of problems that we didn't know existed. Or are they blaming the citizens committee that they're the people that they appointed to go look and investigate into all these schools, and now they figured, you know what? They have all these problems they found. We were only interested in doing 300 million, but then they get little dollar signs in their eyes, and oh my God, maybe we can spend more money, even more money, on fixing everything else that this committee that we appointed found. Or what happened? I don't think a single person, not a single trustee, not a single administrator, not the superintendent. I don't think, maybe I'm missing something, maybe I missed it completely, but I don't think anybody has explained how you went from wanting only a $300 million bond, now including the $50 million for the pack, to make it about $340 million, how it went from that amount in February to now wanting $460 million in August. What changed? What mismanagement happened? What problems did they find? Where are they getting these numbers from? Where are these getting these estimates from? And that's why that's why I'm concerned. Maybe I'm just an evil, nasty, disgusting conservative that wants to say no to everything, because that's the implication from some people. But I'm not saying no. I was saying somewhat okay, yes, to less than $300 million. I'm definitely saying no to $460 million.
What I've noticed is, and maybe I'm wrong, what I've noticed is that I have seen the older constituents be in favor of it. They're like, yeah, let's do it. When I talk to the younger generation, they're more like, no, I don't want to pay my property taxes. I don't want my property tax to increase. And I think we've been doing a good job of letting them know that, in the span of, it's going to be quick. In 5 years, you're going to see your property taxes double. Do you want that? Are you ready for that? Um, that's why the importance of being up to date of what is happening. This very issue, this very day of early voting, we have the opportunity to do something about it. Many people criticize us for, oh, you just complain. That's all you do. But I'd like to think that we're doing a good job of bringing awareness, because many community members are concerned about the increase of property taxes. They're placing a bigger financial burden, a heavier burden on homeowners, seniors, fixed income families, small business owners. While funding for the local services and school is very important, and the maintenance of these facilities, I think it's important that spending is transparent, efficient, and justified. Hey, we're asking people to fork over not peanuts, but hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars. That's why I don't understand, and I will be posting later today questions about politicians, and maybe we'll get a response from them. Are they in favor of this bond? Are they in favor of property taxes being increased? There have been stories out there that, oh, she's in favor, he's in favor, he's in favor. Wow, they haven't come out publicly, and the only ones that I can for sure say without no doubt in my mind that are in favor of this and have been vocal about this that I know of is the mayor, John Cowan, and county judge, Eddie Trevino. They were at the State of the District and spoke shortly before Dr. Chavez addressed the community in this particular issue. So that's one thing that I want to ask, Roman. Hey, are you aware of this? Are you making sure that that these community members, that these elected officials are keeping the community on the forefront of their minds whenever they do ask for these property taxes to increase? Do they care? Does it matter to them? It should, but I guess I'll try to do a better job of putting it out there, seeing, hey, is this person in favor? Yes or no?
Yeah. Ruby Rose is saying Daniela stated on a podcast with Rose Gowan. Wait, why are you watching a podcast with Rose Gowan? Why does Rose Gowan have a podcast? Like, how bored are you that you're watching that, Ruby Rose? Well, I'm glad you watched it because you learned something. That you said we have 100-year-old schools. Really? Which ones are they, Frankie? Anyone? All fake news, misrepresentation. Vote no. I think Egley is one of the 100-year-old schools. Putinit is one of those 100-year schools. With Skinner, is Skinner about 100 years old?
Yeah, Skinner's going to close anyways, though.
Yeah, I mean, so those are the only three I can think of right now off the top of my head that are 100 years old. But the vast majority of them are not 100 years old. I mean, come on, guys. Here's a few things that you mentioned, Frankie, that I think are important. You're saying taxes will double in 5 years. They will. I mean, we've shown you the chart. It's BISD's own chart. It talks about how it will double for people. The average taxpayer, it will double from right now to 5 years from now. But if you think about the tax rate is not going to double for the INS tax rate. I'm not talking about the other, because I have to remind everybody, there are two different taxes, property tax rates. There's the M&O, which is maintenance operation tax rate, which is the larger tax rate. And then you have the INS, not INS like immigration, INS tax rate, which is the interest and sinking fund. That is the tax rate we are talking about. That is the bond tax rate. That is your debt tax rate. So when you add those two together, it adds to the total tax rate that you pay to BISD this year. And you can look it up yourself if you don't believe me. If you think I'm putting out fake news, that we're being misinforming, that we're disinformation, that we're not the factual people, that the only facts you can get are people that work for the government or people that are government elected officials, the trustees that are out there saying we do the facts, and the podcasts like Roman and the blogs. Well, I think the blogs are in favor of this bond. I don't know if they're I don't know who's encouraging them to, well, and how they're being encouraged to be in favor of the bond. But if you look, this is facts. When you add the two tax rates together, right now, in October 2025, the tax bill that you got right now, that you got in the mail, that says it's due, you got to pay it, is 83 cents. 83 cents. That is what the tax rate is. Four of those 83 cents is the INS tax rate right now. The interest and sinking fund is 4 cents. It's not 24 cents. It's not 28 cents. It's 4 cents. In 5 years, if Proposition A passes, it's going to go up 6 times. That tax rate is going to increase 6 times to 24 cents. And you know how I know this? You multiply 4 times 6 and you get 24 cents. And supposedly, according to the superintendent, it's going to go even to 28 cents if you pass both of the bonds. Because that's what he said in the State of the District address. So that means the INS tax rate in 5 years is going to not go up double each time. No. It's going to go up 7 times to 28 cents. That's insane. In what world should anything be going up more than double every year for 5 years? That's wrong. And just for the record, that's a 600% increase in the tax rate for just that portion, not including the maintenance operation, not including what that is, because we don't know what that's going to be. It could be lower, it could be higher. We don't know, but what we do know is that tax rate, no matter what, will have to go up that amount because the voters will have approved that tax rate. That is not changing. That will have to stay there for the next 30 years. Think about that. 30 years, that tax rate is there. No matter how many times people like Janie Lopez and Republicans in the state house and Adam Hinojosa and senators in the state senate and your lieutenant governor, Republican lieutenant governor, the governor, Governor Greg Abbott, and whoever comes after him, no matter how much they try to lower the maintenance and operations school tax bill for you, the taxpayer, BISD has said no matter what, in 5 years, that tax rate is going to be 28 cents no matter what. And that 28 cents is going to be right now approximately 50% of what the city of Brownsville tax rate is. It's almost equal to the tax rate you're paying to the county. It's wrong. And that is what they are doing. And then on top of that, you have the superintendent, Dr. Jesus Chavez, telling everybody, in 8 years, after this passes, if it passes, in 8 years, we're going to go for another bond. And that's only going to increase the INS tax rate to even more than what it is right now. Why is it when we talk facts like this, I don't think any single trustee has explained this. Not the superintendent has not explained this, other than saying, yeah, it's going to go to 28 cents, but never explained it, how it's really going to impact you. And the reason is because you get this stinking chart that they put out there and they want to focus in on the old people, which is why, Frankie, you're probably saying the older people are okay with this bond because it's not going to affect them because it's over 65. Right now, if you're over age of 65, your taxes are frozen. It doesn't go up. It doesn't go up. It's frozen. It's there. It's like it's like Olaf. It's like this, it's not going to melt away. It's there. That is the tax rate for them. That is what. So they're like, me vale. It doesn't affect me. I don't. But remember, why are you, 65-year-old person or older? Why are you even paying school taxes? You would think you would be caring about that, but no. Nah, it's okay. I'll pay it. It doesn't affect me. Or let's say it's somebody who's 63 years old right now. Let's say they're 61 years old right now, and the tax rate is really nice and low. It's really nice and low at 83 cents. But if this bond goes into effect, it's going to go higher and higher and higher, guys. And then when you're 65, you're going to be paying a higher tax rate. Are you dumb? Do you want to do that? Don't you want to have a nice low tax rate so it's frozen in time and you're not paying that high tax rate? I mean, be smarter if you're over 60, but maybe it's the older people that want it. But the younger people, the ones that are going to be saddled with this thing for 30 years. If you're 30 years old right now and you own a house, God bless you. I'm shocked that you're 30 years old and you can own a house in Brownsville, but you're going to be paying this thing for 30 years. You're going to be 60 when this thing is over. Maybe that's why those are the individuals that they realize, no, we're not paying for this. This is ridiculous. Or let's say you're 40 years old and you do own your house. You're more likely at that point you do own your house. Well, you own a mortgage. You have a mortgage on your house. Your mortgage is going to go up. You know, it's very possible your mortgage this year went down a little bit because of this tax rate being so low now, thanks to the Republicans in Austin. I know that this is hard to understand for some people to recognize this because it's numbers, it's math. I'm trying to simplify it for you all. I think Frankie's trying to do the same thing. But the simple thing is the tax rate is going to go up 7 times if both bonds pass. It's going to go up 600%. But your physical taxes, your money taxes are going to double in 5 years from now. Do not let anybody gaslight you into saying that the tax rate and the tax rate is there in their chart even says it's going to be higher than last year's tax rate. Don't let anybody tell you that your actual taxes are not going to double in 5 years. Don't let anybody tell you that. And it doesn't matter that they're going to fix these 100-year-old schools because it's ridiculous. It's wrong. It's highway robbery.
Speaking of the bonds, earlier, let me see. Let me pull it up. Dr. Chavez did give Channel 4 an interview, and it was titled "Brownsville ISD Campus Renovations Proposed in Proposition A." And in this interview, he talks about the need. This was shortly after, ladies and gentlemen. This was shortly after our program, our platform posted that 11 schools were going to close, and one of them was being Egley Elementary. Well, he did. He did an interview at Egley Elementary, and he did state that the campus did need around $30+ million in renovation. One of the things that Roman just previously mentioned,
15.7.
16 million. Again, anyone that builds home, that remodels, that's never a final number. It's always it always balloons. Could it get closer to 20? Possibly. But it's interesting what he says. He is quoted as saying part of this relates to the wood that we have, which again, I'm going to go back and say that the wood is probably 48 years old. And so when a bird starts chirping on a 48-year wood is old as well, a hole is made. Aside from roofing, items at the top of his list at Egley include parking lot renovations, a new fire alarm, HVAC, windows. You can see the fiberglass. That's not glass. It's very thin. I bet you these originals were from the school when it was built 48 years ago. Here I know in the beginning of the year, we had several AC problems where one unit went down, several units went down. It was uncomfortable for our students. Chavez said the last time the district proposed a bond project was 18 years ago, which is why he believes some major renovations have been postponed. Listen to what he says. We have waited 18 years. So my suggestion moving forward is do not wait that long. Take a look at where you're at the end of this construction. It may be that another 8 or 10 years down the road, there is another bond election that is necessary to continue to make sure that we keep our schools at an appropriate level. And that's the way they're going to go. That's how they're going to continue with this property tax increase, where they need bond after bond after bond after bond. One thing that doesn't make sense to many people is how can we have one of the richest budgets south of San Antonio, a budget of $600+ million, but yet we're still struggling to keep 3 months of operation funds in the coffers, how we're still having trouble giving teacher raises. And when we do give teacher raises, it's kind of like a wash because their insurance raises. So this is the reality that BISD is dealing with. The reality is that they're going to get in debt again and again and again. So your child that's 5 years old, 10 years old, by the time they're 40, you think they're not going to have another bond stacked to their already burdenous weight that they carry for all these property taxes? It's just it's weird, Roman. It's as if our elected leaders are blinded, that they don't see the struggles that people go through, that maybe they don't understand what it's like not being able to eat, missing payments because people don't have money. It's sad, it really is, because you have people complaining about, oh, no kings, no kings. Has the Democratic Party thought about what's more important, either complaining about a president that's thousands of miles away, or a proposition that is right in our backyard that's going to affect the livelihoods of hundreds of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people here in the city of Brownsville? It doesn't make sense. Our priorities are all jacked up. Do we know where people are going to vote? Have our Democratic Party, have they posted something? Has our Republican Party of Cameron County, have they posted something in regards to the list, to the propositions? Get informed. Let me educate you. It seems as if they don't care. They kind of want this to pass. They don't want to bring too much attention to it. Maybe because they don't want to go against the grain. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very interesting that we had this No Kings protest, but there was no. Was there a counter protest? Where have those people been talking about the local issues? Because the reason they don't, because the people that were protesting President Trump over the weekend, the 100 people or so that were over on Alton Clore. It wasn't Alton Clore. No, it was on Morrison, right? Morrison, yeah. They're friends are the elected officials. Do you really think they're going to be protesting them? They're their buddies. Why would we protest them? They're our friends. They don't do anything wrong. They're great. Do you really think the Democratic Party isn't supporting this bond? Of course they're supporting this bond. They're not saying it publicly, I don't think. Of course they support this bond because they want more debt. They want an expansion of government. That is what the Democratic Party stands for. And of course they want this bond because they want to make sure that we can stand up to Governor Abbott. Never mind that he's in a wheelchair, but we're going to stand up to him. We have to do that because we don't like him. He's mean. He's horrible. He's the worst governor ever because he took away money from public schools because we're not fully funding public schools. That's what these Democrats say. That's what they're all about. So you don't you think that they don't support this bond? Of course they support this bond. Of course they do. Because this will stick it to the man, stick it to Governor Abbott. And it's ridiculous. But I'm hoping that people are wising up. I really do. I know I've been telling you for like the last month, I think this thing is going to pass no matter what. I had a former trustee on my page yesterday talk about that and say, it's going to be a bunch of naysayers that are going to, the same old voting against it, but it's going to pass because people realize that we really need this. And then I had to talk to him about, because he didn't believe me when I told him about the 600% increase. He said, I think your math is wrong. I'm like, no, my math is right. Like, oh, maybe your facts are right. I know my facts are right. I'm not screwing around with this. I'm telling you the truth. This is what it is. These are the numbers. But thankfully, I'm not included in that naysayer group. The former trustee said, I'm not including you in the naysayers because I've been honest. If the bond were a smaller bond, I would have supported it. And I'm not lying about it. I mean, I would have supported because do I believe there's some need at the school district? Yes. I think even Frankie, you agree. There's some need at the school district because we have had mismanagement. We have had bad trustees. We have had bad school boards. We have had bad superintendents that don't do all this stuff. However, doesn't mean that we have to go for the whole enchilada. It doesn't mean we have to go $460 million. It could mean $100 million bond just to prove that we can do it. I think we've talked about that. And even them, they've said it. And I know I've said this before, but maybe we have new viewers watching us right now. Or maybe I can remind the people that have watched this and remind them, I didn't make that argument before. I didn't tell my friends. That's what this show is about, guys, today. I feel that this show today is about helping you, remind you of some of these arguments, the arguments that I'm making, that Frankie's making, that you think are great arguments to make to your neighbor, to your family, to your friend, when you tell them to vote no. Because I expect each of you that's watching this show right now, I don't know how many people are watching right now, or the ones that are watching later on today, because you don't want to get caught watching us at BISD. But those of you that watch us, use our arguments to say, this is why I believe it, because I'm not here. I'm not going to give you every single argument. I don't want you to be bored with all kinds of numbers and stuff like that. I'm not going to, rehash, but I just want to give you the basic 3, 4, 5 arguments that I think you can make. Pick one and use it. Go to town on it. Text it. Make it shorter. Make it your own. We are your AI today. We are your chat GTP today. Or is it GPT? I don't know idea. We are your Grok. We're telling you what you think you should do and make those arguments. But where was I? I went on a small little tangent there. I don't remember where I was. Which argument I was going to make. Oh God, where was I? I completely lost it. I went old. Anyway, just make these arguments. I think. Well, I'll remember. Keep going. Where are we going to post, Frankie?
Ching. You were talking about AI, ChatGPT, make the arguments for what we were saying. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this. This is how you know that these people don't give a about you. Okay? Only whenever it's convenient to them. Look. And again, I'm always going to call a spade a spade. Okay? If I see something that's wrong, I'm going to say it. I don't care if it's a friend, if it's an acquaintance. I don't give a I don't. That's the difference between our program and someone else like Susan Rubalcaba. Susan Rubalcaba does not call things the way they are. We'll always keep it 100 with you. I don't care who I piss off. I don't care whose toes I touch. I don't care. Remember, I have no skin in this game. I have no friends in this game. Everybody to me is an acquaintance. Take a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. We have the Facebook page of the Cameron County Republican Party. Let's go through it.
Oh,
when's the last time that they posted?
Look at their title.
When's the last time that they posted?
No,
the 16th, last week. Okay. Don't you think that these people should get involved? Isn't Brownsville, I would dare say, the largest city in Cameron County, the largest voter base in Cameron County? I would dare make the argument that there are lots of Republicans in this city. Lots of Republicans, a lot of constituents that are set to be affected by it, either positively or negatively, with this election on these propositions. Again, we have been screaming at the top of our lungs, ladies and gentlemen, trying to get attention from people, trying to convey a message, showing you with data from BISD that their own data shows that you are going to be affected by this. If you do not vote against it, you will pay more in some sort of way, whether you own property or whether you rent. If you're a business owner, even more so. Look at this page. Again, the last thing posted was 14 days ago. They don't even tell us where we can go vote. They're not even letting us know that there's an election. Do they not know that today is early voting? Do they not know that besides BISD, there are several important propositions, Roman, such as raising up the homestead for the elderly community from, I think, up to 200, if I could be mistaken? Isn't that an important issue? Don't we have a large majority of elderly population that live on a fixed income? Don't you think that they and their families would want to be informed in regards to this? I would dare say yes. Okay. The Democratic Party has not shown an importance, a need, an inkling to be like, hey, people, today's early voting. These are the locations. These are the propositions. Get involved. Nothing. Again, we'll call a spade a spade. Now let's look at Roman's friends, the D's. Have they let us know today's early voting? When's the last time that they posted? The last thing that they posted was the No Kings protest that nobody gives a crap about. We're protesting things that we can't fix in Washington. We can't fix that. You think they're going to be paying attention to us? They don't give a fuck about us. They don't care. They laugh at us. Why are we protesting for higher property taxes, Jared Hakema? Why aren't you promoting no kings at the Bisd Palace? No kings and queens. These people, my goodness, for being so educated, for being involved in the game, they're fucking stupid. They're really dumb. It's either they're stupid, they're incompetent, or they're turning a blind eye. All three is not a good look. Because the way I feel, people, is that if I'm not real with you, if I don't tell you something, I myself am taking part of this. It's like, did you hear about the lover in Paris that got nabbed for who was it? Napoleon's jewelry and his wife's. And did you hear about that in Paris over the weekend, where people nabbed? If people are accomplices, if they saw something and didn't report it, they are just as guilty. Same thing with us. If we see something going on and we're like, what? You want me to make a stink? You want me to go up against Daniela Lopez Valdez and the Lopez family? Really? That's what I hate about these people. They want to make a big fuss. They want to do a big show. But when it comes down to it, the priorities, elderly population, the younger future generation, they're going to be heavily affected by it. They don't make us stink. So we're doomed, because the Cameron County, the Cameron County Republican and Democratic Party don't give a crap about you. They simply don't care whether you go out to vote. They're not letting you know where the locations are. They're not talking about the propositions that are going to be on your ballot. Again, my ex-girlfriend always told me, actions speak louder than words. You could tell me whatever you want. You could tell me that I'm the most beautiful woman. But if you don't show me, if you don't do what's necessary, those are just words. Same thing with our elected officials. Again, these people are put to higher standards. Their responsibility as chairwoman and chairman of the Republican and Democratic parties of Cameron County, their responsibility is to you, the constituents, to keep you informed, let you know, look, this is going to affect you. This right here on the ballot is going to affect you. I had to get a mail out from my desk. This is important to you. But we don't have that here, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because they don't care if your property taxes increase. They're still going to look good. They're still going to live high off the hog. Oh, what? You want me to worry about you? Again, in large part, it's our fault. It's our fault for not demanding more from these people. These people get complacent. These people need to be screaming and shouting at the top of their lungs, just the way Deborah Bell and Susan Rubalcaba got the party involved in a non-municipal race and gave money, hundreds of dollars, $400, $500 to Democrats. They're not getting involved in this race that is just as, even a lot more important than the municipal race. Poke my eyes, man. Poke my eyes.
Nice job, Frankie. I didn't know you had it in you. No, I'm going to tell you flat out. I mean, look at the cover photo with the Cameron County Republican Party. The cover photo simply says "empower." Do they actually empower? Or they empower themselves? Does Deborah Bell empower you, or does Deborah Bell empower herself? You know, don't think we haven't heard the rumors. I mean, she's over there wanting to allegedly. I've heard rumors that they're going to have a Lincoln Reagan Day dinner in February, and they're trying to bring in Laura Trump. They want to pay her $50,000 and fly her in a private jet to come in and do a fundraiser for the Cameron County. That's what she cares about. She cares about hobnobbing with David Luther over the weekend. Some dude who's a county chair. She cares about having a speech and trying to shop around her candidate for Cameron County Precinct 2 and telling everybody, interrupting a potential donor of a candidate who's running for office and getting involved in that race, and telling a potential donor, there are two candidates in this race. or telling another candidate in a race, telling that same person, hey, pay attention to what this person is saying. You need to do this for your campaign. She's involved. Está bien metiche. That is what she cares about. She shows up late to the little training that she promoted on the page, and then she leaves early. She leaves early because she doesn't care. She wants to, pretend that she's an important person, but she wants to empower herself. She doesn't want to empower you. She doesn't want to empower you, because if she wanted to empower you, the Los Fresnos CISD property owner, not the BIC property owner, she would encourage her party to go out there and say no to this bond. Make sure. She doesn't care. She's going to let Susie deal with it. That's what she told me. Like, I'm letting Susan do it because she does a better job. No, idiot. BISD is just as important. She wants to empower and she wants to engage. How exactly is Deborah Bell, the Republican county chair, engaging the voters right now? She thinks the primary, which is in March, is so much more important, because she's busy trying to find the people that she wants to get elected so that she can get credit for those people. She's the one that's telling, other congressional candidate teams that, oh, no, you came in too late, Luis Puenteo. Sorry, Luis Puenteo, you came in too late in this race. I'm with Eric, even though she's supposed to be impartial, neutral in the race. And the only reason I'm talking about this because, I want you all to know what's happening in your Republican Party, because they instead of they didn't even do a counter protest for this No Kings thing. Nothing. There is no, promotion of what the party is doing and standing up for president. They didn't even stand up for President Trump over the weekend. While people were out there attacking him, no kings, no things. There was nothing the party was doing other than this candidate training. You just had a candidate training last month. You really need to have a second one? Or did you really need to do that? No, you didn't. But they want to empower, engage, and elect. But that's where that's where it is. That is the part that they care about. That is what the party cares about, is electing people, I guess. Do they really elect people? No, they don't really elect people. They elect their friends. I guess their friends would be Nerd Golonsky and Pedro Cardenas and Gus De Leon. But Gus wasn't endorsed because he won without a runoff. He didn't need them. But I think it's important for you all to know that just like Frankie said, the parties are not there for us. The parties don't care because their job is only to care about the primary and the general election of next year. And they do not care whether or not this bond is saddling you with debt. And I'm glad that you said what you said, Frankie. Congratulations. That was amazing. That was an amazing thing you said, because I think it was very passionate. I think people need to know that Frankie and I are both very passionate about this election. The both of us are very passionate about this because it affects you. It affects everybody in the city. Whether or not you live in Los Fresnos CISD, you live in the woods, and your property taxes are not going to go up, it does not mean that you're not going to be affected by this tax increase. Because you have friends that live in BISD, that are your precinct chairs that live in BISD, and they're Do you really think that Deborah Bell, who doesn't live in BISD, that she doesn't shop in Brownsville? She didn't think that food prices are going to go up. She didn't think that when she goes to that fancy little restaurant, it's not going to affect her. You don't think the tax rate increase is going to affect somebody like Susan Rubalcaba, who Frankie may attack, but I consider her a friend? You don't think that Mi Torito restaurant that she owns, you don't think it's going to have to, her prices are going to have to go up? John Cowan, who likes to eat over at Mi Torito, and all the little politicos like to eat at Mi Torito, you don't think that their prices are going to have to go up when this BISD goes up? Think about it. The Cameron County Republican Party is apparently opening up a headquarters that's not big enough to hold meetings, but is big enough to have a show. They have a lease agreement in a year. Do you don't think it's going to go up because of this bond? I mean, it affects everybody, but you don't have Deborah Bell leading the fight. She's not about leading the fight. She's never really been a fighter. She's been a follower. She's only in this position because Mayra Flores wanted her in this position. She wanted somebody that was, I guess, part of the movement. But really and truly, Deborah Bell is not part of the movement. She's not. Jessica Bradshaw was on here earlier. She was on here earlier, and I'm trying. I'm not trying to make this about the party. I'm not, because this is about the bond. But I'm trying to give you all to understand that they don't give a crap about you. That Frankie's right. They don't give a flying f about you. You know, the Trump trains. 5 years ago, they were started by Jessica Bradshaw in this county. And I was having conversations over the last month with people who have told me, no, it's Deborah. No, it was Jessica Bradshaw. She started it. It wasn't Deborah Bell. But that's where she gets her claim to fame. That's why she's in this position. That's why she's there. And that's why she manipulates these poor precinct chairs into being scared of her. Speak up, precinct chairs, especially those of you in Brownsville, the ones that live in BISD. Where is your precinct 54 precinct chair, Robert Camacho? Where is he in all this? Has he been promoting going against the bond? One of his best buddies is Minerva Peña. That's who he adores. Where is he? Where's Robert Camacho? Where's all these precinct chairs that live in here that weren't kicked out by Deborah Bell from the party? Where are they? Where are these people? Why? The idea of being a precinct chair is that you're supposed to know your precinct so that when elections come around, you go and develop these relationships with your neighbors, and you go out there and you tell them, hey, where are they? Are they block walking? Are they trying to get in touch? This is a perfectly good opportunity for a party. This is a perfectly good opportunity for a party to show that you care about issues other than Trump, other than the governor, that you're part of this community, that you're involved and you care, and you can tell them, hey, you know what? We agree on this issue. You're teaching them, and your neighbors in your precinct, they're gonna be, you know what? That guy or girl is smart. I believe them. So the next time that you go talk to them about a particular candidate or a particular issue, that you know what, you and I were on the same side on this issue. You know what? I'm gonna believe you. I'm gonna start doing it. I'm not gonna say that this like how politiqueros and politiqueras work when they try to encourage people to go and mail ballot, but it's not redeveloping a new wheel. I mean, it's just you're not having to reinvent the wheel. Just go out there and talk to people. This is a perfectly good opportunity that the party has wasted because you have crappy, shitty ass leadership in that position. And the only reason she's in position is because certain individuals wanted her and because they hated Morgan Graham so damn much that they didn't care about anybody else. They went to the other extreme. The Republican Party has a perfectly good opportunity to stand up against this bond, but they're not. Now, going back to the Democratic Party, they're not going to stand up. Their cover photo is stop vouchers because they believe that this bond is part of the stopping the vouchers movement. The Democratic Party wants this bond. They may not say it, but they want this bond because they want to have control over the money, because they believe this is a part of the bigger messaging to say, look at all these school districts that are having to go out to all these bonds, and they're going to blame it on Governor Abbott and say they had to go in debt because Governor Abbott and the evil, nasty Republican, they don't want to fund schools fully. And that's why we had to go into this bond, and that's why we had to go into debt, because we had to take responsibility, we had to take control, because they're so mean and horrible and nasty. They want to fund private schools. That's all they care about. They want to fund charter schools. They want to fund schools. And it's part of the bigger messaging. So, of course, the Democratic Party is going to be in favor of it. But do you hear the Republican Party having an argument against it? No. You just have people like Frankie, who Deborah Bell doesn't think he's Republican enough, or even a Republican. And you have somebody who's been a Republican leader forever, talking about this stuff. It's us. It's not the party doing it, because they're useless. They're feckless. They do not empower. They do not engage. They really don't even elect. If you think about it, they really don't. They've elected a few people in large part because of maps that were drawn in their favor. I mean, the only reason that Janie Lopez is even in this position that she's in right now, 4 years ago, she was elected because the map was drawn with her house barely in the district so she could run in that district. And I know this because I was one of the leaders that did help do this, because we wanted a Republican elected. That's why she's in position. It's not because people like her. Trust me, people don't necessarily like her. She's going to win re-election. She's going to beat Kristen Lucky, and she's going to be in that position as long as the governor likes her and wants her. That's fine. Seniority is good for that area. The seniority is good. Yeah. Sorry, I went on a little tangent there, but I want to be with you. I want to show you all, guys. I want to make sure that you all understand the parties are not there for you. It's going to take us together, talking to our neighbors and encouraging them to vote no on this bond, because it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. I'm gonna be like George H.W. Bad, bad. You know, Data Carvey. I might have dated myself on that one. Anyway, sorry. Let me look at some of these comments that they're making. Bravo, gentlemen. Thank you, Mingo. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's very telling. Like I was waiting. I was like, well, it's what 10 a.m. One could go vote early. I was like, well, it's Monday. Let me wait. Let me give them some time. It's already like 2 hours past. They haven't posted nothing. Nothing in regards to early voting. Nothing in regards to the locations. Really? Isn't that their purpose to get people involved? To to get to motivate, to encourage, to empower? I don't know. Sometimes I feel as if maybe I don't know, not reading the room right. If I get something wrong, maybe I don't know. I don't understand. But whenever we have people that have the resources, that it is their duty to keep people informed, to talk about the important issues, and they don't, I'm like, well, then why do we need you then? What purpose do you serve us? It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. But again, while other people won't inform you, we'll try our best. We'll try our best to keep you informed. I'll be posting this. The city of Brownsville has on their page posted the different locations in which you can vote. We have the main office at the Cameron County Judicial Building on Harrison Street, the public library on Central, the Southmost Library, the New Horizon Medical Clinic on Price, the Glass Palace at BISD on Price Road, El Centro Cultural on Gregory in Cameron Park. Where else? The Cameron County Harlingen Annex Building on Wilson Road, the San Benito Community Building on Haywood, Los Fresnos on North Brazil Street, and American Legion in La Feria. What else? American Legion, La Feria, Port Isabel City Hall, Harlingen City Hall, Harlingen Cultural Arts, Santa Rosa, Rio Hondo Municipal Center, Los Indios, South Pajurati Community Center, Santa Maria Administrative Building, the Cameron County Levy Building, the Harlingen Convention Center, and on California Road over here on 511 at the Bob Clark Social Service Center. These are the areas in which you can vote up until the 31st, October 31st.
Earlier I was saying about, how I agree with Lucy, former trustee Lucy Ngoria. Deborah Bell is a disappointment. We need Jessica back. Well, maybe you need to call Jessica and ask her to run for county chair because we need a candidate to run against this woman. That it's important. I mean, Deborah Bell is about herself. She's about empowering herself. I mean, is she supporting Myra Flores in the primary? No. The person that got her in that position, that helped get her in that position, no, she's turned her back on Myra. She's supporting Myra Flores. And if she said, no, I'm not publicly endorsing, if I get a text message, she's not officially endorsing. She's telling people. She's telling campaign operatives on behalf of congressional candidates. She told Freddie Hinojosa herself that she's supporting Eric. I mean, we all know it. Everyone knows who she's supporting, who she's backing in the primary. Doesn't matter if she publicly backs them. She's telling people who she's supporting. She shouldn't. It violates the standing rules that she herself proposed. Do they not read their own rules? No, I don't think they read their rules. I don't think they know their rule and rules. Dwayne Goodwin saying, it seems to me that it's a slush fund. Nobody has or will ever be held accountable. If you're talking about the BISD budget, and the bond, there's an argument to be made for that. I mean, we have a bond, the TRE or something that wanted to pack in 2016 and never happened. I was hoping we're gonna have Duty on this week. I think we're gonna have him on later on this week, Duty and Captain Bob, and they can talk to us more about what they're hearing, about why they're opposing the bond. I'm honestly curious whether or not Captain Bob has seen a decrease in BISD restaurateurs or people visiting customers, I should say, to his business. But yeah, I think it's ridiculous. Jessica Bradshaw, I think, posted something too. And what did she post? If one person informs their church sphere of influence, we can do it. Absolutely. That's how it's going to work. You text. I think somebody sent out a mass text message. I got one this morning. Did you
Oh
get
yeah,
one, Frankie?
I got it this
You
morning
you want
too.
to read it?
Nah,
You want to read it? That's how you're going to do
sure.
it. Somebody out there. I wonder who funded it. It wasn't me. I don't do that just before anybody had that. I don't think, Frankie, it was you, but if somebody did.
Yeah, I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
I actually got it when I got to the studio, and I was like, "What?
Yeah.
When
And
was
just
it?
for just for
Oh,
the
now I'm kind
record,
of for you."
any Republican primary voter can run for county chair, and they will be on the ballot in the primary. And it doesn't cost you anything to run, to file. All you need to do is get signatures from 10% of the precinct chairs, which I think is only 4 at this point. You would only need 4 signatures of precinct chairs. That's all it would take. What does it say? We can't afford to be paying more taxes. No Prop A and B. No new taxes. No $460 million bond. Early voting starts today. You see, but the problem with that one, it doesn't say BISD. It didn't even tell you what Prop A and Prop B are. But hey, at least it says no. Very simple. It should have said Brownsville ISD, but it's okay. I hope that the people are not confused by Prop 1 and 2, which were having to do the constitutional amendment. But hey, somebody sent this out. Probably should have scratched out the phone number on the very top. Did you try to respond to it and say, "Hey, hell yeah, we're voting no"?
No, it's either an automated thing. It's not somebody personally sending out of their phones.
Well, I know that, but at least they can know that somebody will respond to them. When they do those mass texts, somebody has to respond because it goes back to them. Whoever sent it out. I'm curious who sent it out. There was no disclaimer. Again, it was not me. It was not Frankie's, but there's no disclaimer saying who sent it out. There probably should have been one, though. But who knows?
Just again, just crazy. It's frustrating. It's very frustrating whenever you have these organizations, these parties that claim to be, for the people and talking about important issues. And when it comes down to it, they're nowhere to be found. It's like, geez. Again, if you went to go protest for no kings, but then you're silent on this issue, it's like, really? I call those people hypocrites. Like, and I'm gonna get in trouble for it. I don't care, I don't care how people make us think about something insignificant. That what do we want to do? For the president to know that I'm upset with him? The president could give a rat's behind about you.
He's putting out memes, bro.
He's showing himself with a crown. He's laughing. You think he loses sleep because you have Maria and Juan protesting no kings in Brownsville on Morrison? He could care less. Go protest BISD. Go scream and shout. We want no kings and queens. Taxation without representation. That's a better phrase. That's a better line instead of the no kings. It's like, really, people? It's like, oh my God. Like, sometimes I think I need to take a break and I understand we can't save them all, but goddamn. Like, chinga, hombre. Like, we're not that stupid, are we? Like, golly. Maybe we are. Fuck, I don't know.
Do you think that no taxation without representation? Do you think the people at BISD, the trustees, do you think they represent us?
No, they don't care.
All right.
They're thinking about re-election. They're thinking about wine and dine. They could care less. Somebody, like, to them, it's.
I mean, we're talking in general. Okay, I'm not talking about anybody, one person in particular, just in general. I mean, do you think the private school mom, board president, cares about us? No, she doesn't. Mingo Patty posted Bradshaw for chairwoman of the Republican Party. You see, Jessica, you have a supporter right there. You have one voter. If you count Lucy, that's 2. You already got 2 voters. You should run. They want you to run. I guess they're going to draft you. You're gonna get a call from Deborah, I'm sure. What are you doing running against me? Um, no, but I will say, Susan is against this bond. She is posting things. I know because Lucy has been resharing them and things like that. So I know that Susan's against it. But I think as a whole, I'm at least me. I won't speak for Frankie. We're talking about the party leadership, the party itself, whether or not they're against it or not, whether they're defending the governor, defending the President Trump. But yeah, so go vote today. You can vote today, tomorrow, all the way through. Go vote early if you can. Get it in there. Don't forget to go vote. I'm not going to tell you one way or the other to vote for any of the constitutional amendments. I think there's 17 of them, 16 of them. They're all going to pass more than likely. Go and vote however you want to. Feel good. Feel right. I mean, I know I'm going to vote against many of the ones that say fund. If a constitutional amendment says the word fund, 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 that's pretty much a tax, and that's using money. Just say no. Pretty much say no on. So vast majority of them I'm going to vote no on. But if it comes to water, I think we need to fund the water stuff. I think the funding water stuff is important. But for the most part, it says fund, don't do it. Yeah, but it won't matter. They're all going to pass. They're going to. I don't think any of them are going to get lower than 70% of the vote come Tuesday night on election night in 2 weeks. I love Bingo Patty.
I'll go ahead and post the different locations. Again, we've only had the city of Brownsville that has shared the early voting locations. And again, from today till Halloween, Friday, October 31st, you will have a chance to vote throughout Cameron County. If you work in a different city, you will be able to cast your ballot. We will be posting those locations very, very soon. Vote no on Proposition A and B for BISD. Say no to the $460 million that is going to balloon to $1 billion after 30 years. This is mismanagement of epic proportions. The board wants to have a bailout. They do not have a good track record of showing the community that they are able to be responsible with our money. They haven't shown us that they're capable, but yet they want $500 million just like that. Vote no on Proposition A. Vote no on Proposition B. Roman, any last words?
Yeah, just make sure you go vote. I don't know what the word fund in Spanish is, but maybe somebody can translate it. Use Google Translate because I don't know what it means. Or you know what? Just go look at the sample ballot and figure out because they have it in English and Spanish, and figure it out that way because I don't know what word they use. Fund. Just vote no. You don't have to explain. Just vote no. Because we need people to go out there. We need people to understand that this bond is really, really a bad thing for everybody. And let the trustees, the ones that we elected, and even the golden girl that was appointed, let them figure it out which schools they need to be closed because they do need to be closed. Many of them need to be closed. I think most rational people in Brownsville ISD understand that. So vote no, and tell your people share this post, share this thing. But the best thing is send it to all your contacts on your phone. Tell them, get on your Facebook messenger and message people privately. If you don't want to do it publicly, message them. Say, hey, please go out there and vote no. And let me know when you vote no. And if they tell you they want to vote yes, well, thank them for voting. And then move on. Get 2 people to vote no. Please. It's that important. And you know what? We didn't, maybe tomorrow we'll talk more about what some of these board members are doing, like what Denise Garza posted on her Facebook. We'll go through and parse it and figure out what they're really saying.
Yeah, we have a lot of a lot to discuss for these next 2 weeks. We'll try and break it down as much as possible. That way, by election day, you are well informed of what's going on. The trick is, ladies and gentlemen, to call 10 of your friends. Call 10 of your friends. Text 10 of your friends. If you can, give them a ride. Pick them up. Make sure that they're involved. Pick up 10 of your friends. Call 10 of your friends. Text 10 of your friends. Tell them to go out and vote. Talk to them. Educate them in regards to the different propositions that are out there. Let them know what's in the best interest of the community as a whole. Thank you so much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel titled The Franco Levo TV. Good Morning Brownsville will come on Monday to Friday at 9 a.m., sometimes a little bit after religiously. So make sure that you subscribe and follow our YouTube channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. My name is Frankie. This is Roman. Peace.